All right, everybody, welcome, good people of number 38. We are Mile High Sports here to do a little pregame show for Game 4 of Denver Nuggets versus Los Angeles Clippers. I'm Ryan Blackburn. This is Zach Mikash. We're here at MHS. I don't know if you saw walking through the thing. We've got a big old studio over there. We're here partnering with number 38, doing a whole bunch of awesome stuff. Thank you to number 38 for having us out once again. We're happy to be on the main stage and happy to be talking about a big critical game for the Denver Nuggets. Zach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, sir. I'm happy we're out here actually and not in the studio. It's a beautiful day. It started out a little gray and dreary, but it's turned into a wonderful Colorado spring day. Big game for the Nuggets, like you said. Game 4, not technically must win. They will live to play a game 5 no matter what, but about as close to a must-win as you can get.
It's because when you go down 3-1, I mean, who knows? Like, when has the Nuggets ever been good enough against the Clippers in a down 3-1 situation?
Never
the world
happens.
may never know. It never happened. But no, we'll see how it goes today. Before we get into Game 4, let's just kind of go over the series as a whole. Denver wins a tightly contested game in Game 1. Massive implications for that one. Game 2, unfortunate slip at home, and it felt like these two teams very close, very even series. Game 3, unfortunately, didn't go the way Nuggets fans wanted it to go.
No, yeah, Game 3 was a complete dud, and that's that's a little bit concerning to see because, like you said, the first two had been so close. So why did Denver suddenly not have it in Game 3? First game on the road. LA is a tough place to play, especially in the Intuit Dome. It's built for the playoffs, right? Yeah. So that might have had some effect. Obviously, though, Game 3 pretty much from the jump. I mean, they were good for about, maybe like half that first quarter or so. And then it was just downhill from there, right? And then it was hard to win games when you score 83 points.
Yeah, so when that challenge happened in the middle of the first quarter, the one that probably shouldn't have been granted, if we're being honest.
Yeah, with the free throw.
Yeah, everything kind of just went downhill from there. Just a bad sign for the Nuggets at that point. But they have had moments of adversity. Obviously, You go through a coach fire, you go through a general manager firing, and Denver immediately bounced back, immediately responded. Nikola Jokic is the king of that. Jamal Murray, the king of that. They do great things with their back up against the wall. We've seen it before for this roster. So I'm curious to see what they bring in Game 4. What are you expecting from Nikola Jokic?
Yeah, I mean, you would expect that if it's going to be a game, if there's going to be a game, he's going to go off and just have one of those monster Nikola performances. You would expect it would be this one here in Game 4, like we said, with their back against the walls. The Nuggets have responded in most times whenever they come off a really bad loss. Anytime they lost to the Wizards this year, they always came back the next game, played really well. On back-to-backs, right? They were always good on that second back-to-back game. When they've been against the odds, they've played well. I just don't know, man. They look like they're ready to be done with the season. It's been a tough one, and I don't blame them, but we play to win the game, so they got to play to win tonight.
Like I wouldn't blame them either, but obviously this is the job. This is what you're supposed to do. This is a fun thing. This is what the playoffs are supposed to be, what the entire season is about.
Right.
So you would hope that even despite adversity, despite situations and circumstances where, it's not necessarily ideal, Denver still has the capability and the talent to be able to get through this one. The question is whether they will want to. The question is whether they will put in the requisite effort in order to make it happen. I think that they will. I think that this game is going to be hard fought. And I honestly believe in Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray to have spectacular games in this Game 4.
It is a rare occurrence when you are the optimist and I am the pessimist. But I
when
do
you
not
told
feel
me that
way.
they were done, I sort of had to kind of switch it up a little bit, man. Come on.
Yeah, I'm concerned. Like I said, I don't know that they've got it in them. They don't know they got the juice left. I just got to throw this out there, Ryan. I'm concerned about a team who, if you're worried about juice, has also spent 3 days in LA.
I don't know about that. This is the playoffs, man. It's a little bit different from a random Tuesday night in March.
That's fair.
That's
fair. No, but I mean, whether there's a lot of factors that would make it a game they're not supposed to win, right? You're not supposed to, as a road 4 seed on a Game 4 when you're down, to win that game. They're not favored for a reason. You're going to have to play a top-notch game, and I mean, they can. Like we said, they've done it. They've certainly done it, but I don't know. My heart has been just stomped on in these first 3 games.
I understand why. What I will say is that in the first 3 games, I would describe Nikola Jokic's approach, Jamal Murray's approach especially, as trying to make the right play, trying to read the defense.
Sure,
just a little bit of a perspective here. The Clippers are doing this thing where they ignore the other three guys on the court when those two have the ball. They are doing what they can to try to shut down Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. And they know how important those two are for Denver's playoffs. It's the best player in the world, massive playoff riser. These guys are the ones that have the explosiveness. They have the opportunity to make this a game. So I kind of think it's going to be a little bit different this time around for Denver. I think that no matter what happens, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, they're not going to let themselves not shoot the basketball in certain situations. They're just going to kind of force it at times. And that can be good because it's Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. That could be bad because you might be going against getting a better shot. And so we'll see whether they trust the team. We'll see what it looks like for the entire mix.
Well, they're going to need somebody else to step up. Michael Porter Jr., who knows what he can do with the injury that he's going to be playing through. Aaron Gordon, we know he's not 100%, even though he's not listed on the injury report, right? Jamal Murray, and even as one of those two guys, has been dealing with some
he deals with stuff all the time.
All season long, right?
Yeah.
But what about the Christian Brown? What about
Christian's the one that I'm a little bit disappointed in.
He's
so
the
far.
one, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
He's been a guy who was such a huge part of your offense in the regular season. Hasn't done much, and some of that's to be expected. A guy who gets a ton of points fast on the fast break, like a lot of fast break opportunities go away in the playoffs. Teams tighten up, they focus a little bit more. You don't get as many turnovers in theory, and you don't get those opportunities. But he's not hitting his threes either. He's not making those outside shots, and like you said, they're going to ignore everybody on the court when Jokic and Murray have the ball. Christian has had those kickouts, hasn't been able to knock down. Game 2. They possibly win if Christian, or go to overtime again if Christian hits a wide open three and he barely grazes the backboard.
And I totally understand it. This is a new situation for him. I know that he's been in the playoffs before. He's made some massive contributions to Denver over the course of the first 2 years that he's been on the team in the playoffs. So I think that he will continue to rise to the occasion. Every step is kind of a growth opportunity. It's a learning opportunity for him. And we're about to figure out for him, hey, are you built to be a starter? Are you built to be ready for this moment? That's the most important thing for Denver to figure out after losing Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Bruce Brown in back-to-back years. So I'm curious to see what he can do. We did get some injury notices before the game started. Russell Westbrook will be out in Game 4. Michael Porter Jr. will be in. He will play. How healthy he is, I think that's a little bit of a question, given that some of the stuff that others have reported had about 20-30% capacity with the injury. It kind of doesn't surprise me that he looked a little bit bothered in Game 3. So I'm curious to see what your impressions are. Do you think that Michael Porter can give them what they need in Game 4?
Probably not, if I'm just being honest. I mean, that's a tough shoulder injury. I don't think there's any way that Mike would be playing if it wasn't.
It's like a month-long injury in the regular season, but he's sticking with it. And people don't give him enough credit for his toughness, I don't think. He's a guy that's recovered from 3 separate back surgeries. He has been on the court for Denver forever and worked to make that something that he could do, something that he could provide, not something that he's known for just sitting out games. So I give him a ton of credit, but this just might be a situation where he's prevented from being at max capacity because of a majorly painful injury.
Yeah, and even though it's, we were like, well, it's his non-shooting shoulder. I was like, well, he's not shooting one-handed, right? Like, he's still got to get that arm up there. That's still got to be painful. Obviously, he's doing what he can to manage it. But, yeah, I don't think you can expect much out of Mike. He should not be the guy you're hoping is your third star tonight in his scoring. And the thing about Russell Westbrook, he's really been your only scoring threat off the bench right now in the playoffs. And so now you don't have him. So who is it going to be? Is it going to be Jalen Pickett, Julian Strother, Peyton Watson? Who off the bench is going to make some shots, keep the defense honest, and give the Nuggets a little boost when, those 4 or so minutes that Jokic is going to be out in the second and fourth quarter, maybe fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Who's going to help step up? Because that's been Russ in the games thus far.
And he hasn't gotten enough credit from that. I haven't given him enough credit for that, especially when you take him away and you start to realize, okay, so this is what it looks like.
Then we scored 83 points.
Yeah, 6 points off the bench in Game 3. That has to change, obviously. Guys that I'm looking to step up, Peyton Watson specifically, he's the talented option that they have that can both defend, can switch, can run in transition, and has been noted as somebody who wants to expand his role offensively. So, all right, throw him into the fire. Let's see what happens and how you can handle that situation. I'm a little bit skeptical with that one, obviously, because that's like, it's something you have to practice over the course of several years. And I just don't think that they've given him enough reps to be of like a primary or secondary ball handler.
Sure, yeah. And when any of those times that he's been in those spots, whether it was preseason, summer league, or something like that, like it becomes very obvious that Peyton is not a put the ball in my hands, I'll take a guy one-on-one and beat him off the dribble. Like, that's not his game. You're hoping he knocks down threes, right? Like, when the ball gets kicked out to him, he's got to hit those shots just like everybody else. And you're hoping he can get a little bit, work that mid-range game. He's had some success there. But give them just something. Just find a way to manufacture baskets. It's not going to be just one guy. It's going to have to be Peyton making his shots. It's going to have to be Jalen Pickett hitting his threes when he's open. It's going to have to be Christian Brown finding a way to get out and run the floor. That's what it's going to take. Because, again, if you're counting on Michael Porter Jr., you're in a losing proposition. And that's nothing against Mike, but he by his own words, right, he's not 100%. So you shouldn't count on that being 100% for your team.
A quick stat for you that I pulled for the preview earlier today. The Clippers are shooting 16 of 32, 50% from three with 7 seconds or less on the shot clock.
Not great.
That's crazy. It's by far the best percentage in the NBA playoff picture so far. And it's just unlucky. Like, if you're Denver, most teams in that situation, they get worse looks. They are being rushed by the clock. And the Clippers have just benefited from some luck. So is it possible, Zach, that the luck could kind of flip on its side in one of these games? Or does Denver just kind of have to make their own luck by playing better defense?
Yeah, I mean, some of it, right, is that how much of it is luck? How much of it is the Nuggets just not playing 24 seconds of defense, right? They're losing, falling a step behind on your rotations so when they swing it under 7 seconds, that's when it breaks down and the guy gets an open shot. Some of it is just they play good defense and they're living with Chris Dunn shooting threes, and eventually the Clippers give him the ball because that's where they're at, and he's going to only take that shot near the end of the shot clock, and he's knocked some of those down as well. So some of that may be luck. Maybe it's you got to sort of look at that approach of, am I going to continue to give guys open threes and just focus only on Kawhi and James Harden? They're going to have to make some decisions here, but I would not just count on it regressing to the mean. I would not think that that's what's going to happen. Not at home. The Clippers are going to have the juice. They're going to be ready. I think you got to bring absolute intensity for all 24 seconds. Well,
who can they look to bring that intensity from? I think Aaron Gordon is one candidate, somebody who, like, I know that he's dealing with the calf injury that he's had kind of nagging at him for a while, but I think that if there is a candidate to step up outside of Jokic and Murray, Aaron Gordon is by far the best option. He's somebody that can give them the juice on both ends of the floor, somebody who can make some big shots. He started doing that at the first quarter of Game 3. I want to see if he can continue it during Game 4. He's somebody that is, of course, extremely important for this Nuggets team, and I'm curious to see what he can provide. Denver has had a couple of times where they've had one of Murray or one of Jokic off the floor, where I would like to see Gordon continue to step up and be that initiator, be somebody that you can throw the ball into in the post, run some pick and roll, or just be the orchestrator of things. I think that there's an opportunity for him to step up in this moment, and we will see whether he's capable of doing it, just like all of these guys are capable of doing it physically, because it just kind of seems like they're worn down.
Yeah, exactly. Like we said, it's been a long season. It's obviously been an emotional roller coaster for him, but we're still here. And you know what? You win today in Game 4. You go back to Denver, tied. It's now a 3-game series, and you've got home court advantage. Like, you got to like your odds in those scenarios. So
you if you don't, then you're dead.
Then what are we doing, right? Then why are we even playing the game? Yeah. So I mean, Aaron Gordon is again a guy who's they've got to look to, and like you said, in the post, man. Like we're one of the top teams scoring in the paint over the regular season. They've got to continue to force that issue. The Clippers are one of the smallest teams in the playoff bracket. This should be an advantage for Denver. They've even, but it's completely flipped on them to where it's almost become a disadvantage. Almost to now the Clippers are like, we're going to sit Ivica Zubac. We don't care if Jokic is still out on the court. Like, we'll just get that out of his hands and have them push the ball to the outside to the perimeter, and nobody's forcing that ball back inside. So obviously you want Jokic to do that, but Aaron Gordon's the number 2 guy who's got to do that. That is his bread and butter really on offense. I know he shoots better. I know he's been good from the outside this year, but his bread and butter is still, I'm going to bully you down in the post. I'm going to get close to the basket, easy layup or dunk. That's where they need him to be tonight.
Well, whatever the case, you're going to want to be here at number 38. There's a lot of great options. There's this outdoor patio area is amazing. So many people having a great time getting ready for this Nuggets game. If you're interested, the Mile High Sports squad has the Orange Crush beer that's on tap. That's one of my favorites personally. There's a lot of other options on tap as well. So make sure to come down to number 38 and let them know that you came from Mile High Sports. We're doing some great things as well here in this venue. So going forward for this Nuggets game, let's say they win. Let's say this is a good step in the right direction for Denver. Let's say Jokic is just undeniable for the Clippers. Does that change your feeling on the series? Like, if you saw a win today, would that change how you feel about the way that the series kind of feels like it's going towards the Clippers? But if Denver kind of reels it back in, do you give Denver a good chance?
Sure, yeah. I mean, it somewhat matters in the manner they win. Yeah. Right? If they win on a buzzer beater at the last second, you probably still don't feel great. If they win by 20 plus,
that would feel pretty great to me.
Right? Yeah, I mean, you'll still take it. Like a win's a win. If they win by 20 plus, though, obviously you feel much better about their chances.
Of course. Yeah.
But like I said, you tie the series, you go back to Denver for now a 3-game series with 2 of those games in Denver. Yeah. I think you've got to feel pretty good about the Nuggets chances. You might not feel better about the long-term prospects of this playoff run, but we know these teams are very, very evenly matched. What happened in Game 3 just sometimes happens in basketball. But I think the series is much closer to what we saw in Games 1 and 2 than what we saw in Game 3. So if you can get it back even, you at least have a coin flip chance because this seems like very much like a coin flip type of series.
So before Game 3 even happened, I kind of predicted that the Clippers would win in a blowout. And the reason why I thought it was because there's so much pressure that is being applied to both of these teams that Denver, the more injured team in that situation, the Clippers being an Intuit Dome, it's a situation, a perfect storm, if you will, for all of those factors to kind of fall apart. Now, Denver, they have shown resilience before. They have shown the ability through several years of playoff performance to be able to bounce back in a critical game for even when they're down 2-1. So I'm hopeful. We'll see what it looks like. We'll see how it goes. But I am hopeful that they can make this a new 3-game series, Game 5, 6, and 7, back here in Denver.
Yeah, I think this is either a 7-game series or a 5-game series.
Okay.
So, and it pretty much obviously would hinge on what happens here tonight.
We'll see how it goes. But there's I don't know let's see. Yeah, so let's talk about the other series actually. So we're waiting on this one. We're waiting on OKC Memphis to finish up here. OKC's leading 3-0 in this series. Were you surprised that Memphis was able to
blow a massive lead
of that Game 3 lead that they had?
Yeah, I mean, I almost stopped paying attention to it. I did stop paying attention to it for a little bit because I was like, all right, well, Memphis bounced back, nice job, and then
I don't see any way to lose this one.
Right, and then OKC comes back winning. But that's the problem with the Thunder. They're so good defensively. They will just clamp on you for 10 minutes, and they've got the talent. They've got the most talented scorer in the league right now. So they're gonna find their way back. They're gonna be a tough out for anybody. Obviously, whoever wins this Nuggets Clippers series is going to be facing
upward battle. I would say.
Yeah. I mean, now granted, Memphis could come back from an 0-3 series. I guess it's
no, they can't. First of all, they have to come back from a 9-point deficit right now.
They got 4 minutes.
They got 4 minutes. We'll see how it looks. But Memphis has not impressed me in these playoffs, and OKC certainly has. So that's one that I think is going to finish up in about 4 minutes. But what about some of these other ones? Hey, we saw the Lakers lose in one game to Minnesota. Have you felt conflicted on the results of that one?
You know what? No, I'm loving it because no matter what, whichever teams loses, I'm happy. Like, it's great. Like, I don't want either one to win. Yes, awesome. I love hate watching that series. They make a basket. I'm like, yeah, take that, Anthony Edwards. And then Minnesota comes out like, yeah, take that, LeBron James. Like, it's great. It's been enjoyable. I think both those teams are talented. I think Minnesota honestly wins that series. I think they're just They're just younger. They've looked like the younger, more fresh team. They've looked like the team that's a little bit more ready for the moment, which is crazy to say with LeBron James there.
Well, people have been criticizing Jokic for his perimeter defense, but I don't know, man. Luka Doncic has been pretty bad. He's been pretty bad.
Listen, there's some pretty amazing perimeter players there in Minnesota, starting with Anthony Edwards, right?
Well, like Jaden McDaniels is giving him 30,
true. He's looking like a star right now.
He looks crazy.
For sure.
That's an interesting one over there. What about Rockets Warriors? How are you feeling about that one?
That is probably the one I have the hardest time putting my finger on. I think a lot of us expected the Warriors to win that because of the playoff experience.
Yeah.
It's Steph Curry. It's Draymond Green. It's still the Warriors, right? Pretty much everybody from Houston, save for some of their role players, it's their first playoff series, right? I mean, Fred VanVleet, I guess, is your best playoff performer there. So it's been a bit hard to see, and it's kind of gone a little bit back and forth so far, right? Like it looks like it's going to go 7. So I still think in that moment, I'm going to take Golden State and the experience, even if they're going to be on the road in Houston. I don't anticipate either one of those teams getting out of the next round either. I think whoever wins this Lakers Timberwolves series is probably on a collision course with the Thunder. Unless the Nuggets pull off some crazy upset in the second round. But we got to beat the Clippers first tonight.
Yeah, got to beat the Clippers tonight. I think the Jimmy Butler injury was, of course, a big deal.
That's a tough one.
In that Game 2 loss for the Warriors. So we'll see if he's back. We'll see if that one will happen tonight as well. So going to be interesting to see who can take that series in particular. But, okay, circling back to the Nuggets here real quick. What's your impression been so far of new interim head coach David Adelman and just the job that he has done, but also maybe the situation that he has been put in and how he has handled it?
Yeah, it's been a tough situation, obviously. It's a very unique one. And I think he's handled it just fine. I think that's one of the things that you get out of David Adelman is very steady presence. He's never a guy who gets too high, too low. Michael Malone was a guy who could get very high, very low, depending on how the game went and how well his team played defense. David Adelman, very, very even keel, right? Like when he yells, it doesn't even really seem like he's yelling.
It was interesting during that Game 3. There were so many times where I thought that he would be calling a timeout, and he just he kept the arms crossed. He was very patient. He was very methodical. Not necessarily a good one, I'll say, right. But it definitely felt like Denver didn't have a lot for that particular moment, and he kind of let it go a little bit. And it's okay if it's a 1-1 series and it's Game 3. I don't know whether he's going to be a little bit more reactive in Game 4, whether he's going to continue to let some of those things go. It's always difficult in the moment to know. He, of course, didn't call that timeout at the end of Game 2, which maybe that changes the outcome. We don't know.
Sure.
But I do think that it's like I said, Game 79, you get put into the head coaching spot, and that's just a very, very difficult place to be. Although he's been around for a while and knows this team pretty well.
Yeah, I mean he's obviously a basketball lifer. His dad was a head coach for a long time in the league. Yep. But I would say this, in terms of X's and O's and rotation and everything, and maybe this is because a lot of the times your assistant coaches are the ones who handle that anyways.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel any different, right? It still feels, I feel like Michael Malone would have been running this exact same rotation, So I don't know that it's really all that different from what the Nuggets are doing. I don't know that David Adelman is, even here to make any changes. I think it was more of again, let's just get back to basic and normal. David Adelman is a very much just nonchalant kind of guy, and I think nonchalant was what could be appreciated in that Nuggets locker room after what they'd gone through this season.
In the moment, but at this point, especially kind of you're down Game 4, you're down 2-1 in this series, you need a little bit of momentum. You need somebody to kind of shift the energy a little bit. Is he the right guy to kind of get them going again?
No, I don't think if you're hoping that David Adelman is going to be that guy, I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. And that's maybe why some of the reasons I'm also just pessimistic. I don't know. I mean, Jamal would be the guy I would think he can get them going. He's done it
before.
Right. In the playoffs. Yeah. He's been that guy. Maybe him. Otherwise, with Mike being hurt, with Aaron being hurt, it's just hard to see. It's going to have, like we started, it's going to have to be Jamal and Nikola. Those are the guys, they got you here. They're your best players. They've got to step up in your biggest moments. This is your biggest moment right now. If you're hoping that your interim head coach who took over the job 3 games before the end of the season is going to be the one to rally the troops, then we're probably in a tight spot here.
What is the fewest amount of combined points that you need to see from Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray to feel good about this game, to feel good about Game 4?
Probably 50.
50? Well, hey, they were at 46 in the last one, and then that obviously didn't work out.
Right, and somebody else has got it's almost got to be 65 to 70 with a third guy in there. And I don't know who that third guy is. Maybe it's Aaron Gordon, maybe it's Christian Brown, maybe it's the Jalen Pickett game. Who knows? But they've got to have that third person, because you're right, they scored 46 and they got blown out. But if I said, well, if they score 60, but if nobody else scores more than 9, you're going to end up losing 110 to 102 or something like that. So they've got to have a third guy come with them.
Of course, it's extremely important. And when you have the bench score 6 points, that is going to be very problematic. So I'm curious to see who who steps up. They're going to need Michael Porter to make some shots. They're going to need Aaron Gordon to make some shots. They're going to need Christian Brown to take some shots and to be more confident in this situation. So curious to see how they handle themselves. Curious to see what it looks like as we're waiting for OKC Memphis to wrap up, and it looks like there's about 2 minutes left to go, but OKC is still leading pretty comfortably in this situation.
By 7. This is going to be a comeback right here. And then the Grizzlies are going to come back 4-3.
Man, I thought it was about to be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at the free throw line and was about to throw this headset.
Hey, that's one thing I can't say about this, even though we do have a little bit of the James Harden element. And Norman Powell's had some moments. Yeah. Fairly ethical basketball being played in this series, which I can appreciate.
Well,
I'm trying to spin it here.
Okay.
But no, I mean, a Kawhi Leonard. Let's put it on Kawhi Leonard and Nikola Jokic.
Has been
it's fun to see those
very
matchups
ethical,
between those two guys.
And like that game too from him, it was extremely it was a very good game. And like sometimes you just got to tip your hat to a guy. So I'm hoping, and we'll see what happens, but I'm hopeful that the Nuggets are in a position where Jokic has a performance, where Murray has a performance, where the Clippers just have to say, just got to tip your cap to that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Or, let's play some extremely unethical basketball. Like, let's hunt the fouls, man. Let's do what we need to do. I mean, if we want to have just Jamal Murray just kind of step into everybody and flail for 30 points, I'll do that.
We'll see how they handle the pressure. Memphis,
you're doubting the team.
I don't see any way that Memphis comes down and wins this one.
Oh, there it is. There was a classic Blackburn.
Big one from J-Dub there. This is going to be a very interesting finish. Oh, got right to the rim.
Little Scottie Pippen Jr.
No foul there. Okay.
Okay. Shout out Scottie Pippen Jr.
Yeah, this is
representing.
If you're Denver, if you're the Clippers, you just want to see OKC lose as many games as possible.
For sure. Yeah,
heading into the next round.
Well, it's that, or it's going to come the other way of let them sweep here tonight, and then if you go 7, is that rust?
Like congratulations,
factor.
You have 36 6 to get ready for Game 1 in OKC.
The Thunder for Alex Caruso.
That'll be very stressful.
Jalen Williams.
They've got an opportunity to tie. Oh, and he just gave it up. Oh, was that a foul? Was that a foul there?
I don't know what that was.
We have no idea what it is. Oh, it's on Scottie Pippen.
There you go. It looks like the Thunder. Well, you never know. Hey,
you never know.
They could.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But so if Denver had to deal with OKC in the next series, what would be your goal?
Not get swept. I think would be goal number 1. Let's be honest.
They call me Mr. Pessimistic, huh? Yeah.
Listen. It's not. I'm not exactly. Optimistic right now that they'll have any chance to see the Thunder in the second round. But that's got to be step 1 is just win a game.
Yeah.
The Thunder looked like, this season they were in a class above everybody else. Thus far in the playoffs, they've more or less looked like, everybody else has been kind of even. We got some back and forth.
They won the first 2 games by a combined 79.
Yeah, so exactly. And then they came back from a huge deficit in Game 3. Like they still look a class above everybody else. So I don't, maybe the goal is at least make it go 6. Okay, that would make me happy.
Like the thing is, it's all about matchups, man. And Memphis they aren't a good matchup for OKC. Now, the interesting thing is that without John Morant, without Brandon Clark, without Jalen Wells on their team, they've still been able to make this thing a contest. So curious to see.
They're about to get swept.
We'll see.
They did lose by 79 points. These are your words, right?
This game.
Okay, this game.
4. Let's see how Desmond Bane handles this.
Fair enough.
Oh, big
with
shot.
The step back. Nope. That's it.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. That's going to be a tough one. Okay, well.
So they're going to be rested, for whoever. And if you're the Clippers right now, you're thinking to yourself, all right, let's, if you're watching the game right now and getting ready for your game next, and you're the Clippers, you're thinking, let's go out and win tonight. Let's put the boot on the Nuggets and get ready so that we're not seeing. So we're not playing a Game 7 while these guys are sitting.
I say no. I say Nuggets winning a critical Game 4.
Nuggets win a critical game. Okay, I like it. I want that to happen, Ryan. I just. Like I said, it's weird. It's weird to be in the seat to be the pessimist while you're the optimist.
Well, hey, we will see what happens tonight. But to the good folks here at number 38, thanks for having us here for this pregame show. We're going to get off the stage, get you ready to watch this Nuggets game, and very, very excited, very, very excited about what this game will put together. So, all right. For everybody here, we're Mile High Sports. Make sure to go check out the studio that we've got up at the front of the place, and we will talk to you guys very soon.